who's our other, we got Suzanne, Nick, Brent, and Rob. Okay, yep, okay.
All right. Well, we thank all of you for coming out tonight and seeing your smiling faces on this nice and sunny, bright evening. We are going to open up the Urban Renewal Agency Budget Committee meeting. First thing on the agenda is selecting a chair. So I'll let Sadie roll call first, and then we'll get into that.
Yeah, this is Melanie. I'm going to do the roll call as long as I don't freeze up. Okay, Ralph Branson is absent. Brent Dodrell.
Here.
Sean Drinkwine.
Here.
Katie Dunsmere.
Here.
Rob Gaskell.
Here.
Justin Gates.
Here.
Charity Hughes.
Here.
Nick Ingram.
Here.
Joel Litke.
Here.
Suzanne Saker.
Here.
Paul Strobel.
Here.
He was here. He's here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
All right, okay. Jerry Tenbush.
Here.
Jerry. Okay. All right. That's we have a quorum.
Excellent. Okay, now we are at that bright and wonderful spot, selection of the chair. So do I have a nominee?
I'd like to nominate Rob Gaskell.
Well, I knew that was coming for some reason. Okay, Rob, do you accept this?
I do if they vote me in.
All right, great. So let's vote. All those in favor of Rob taking the chair position, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Well, Rob, I hate to say there was a large amount that said no, but not going to happen. So take it away, my friend.
So here, I'm sure good. I'm glad I get paid for this. That's what I got to say. So we need to do the approval of the 2012-2020 budget committee minutes.
I move to approve the 2020 Budget Committee meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Any opposed? Motion passed. Presentation of the budget message.
Yeah, so hello, everyone. We are beginning the budget for the 2021-22 Urban Renewal Agency. If I'm not going to read it in full, the first paragraph rarely changes in this, but as you know, the Urban Renewal Agency receives TIF money, which means that it comes from a frozen base values in your district. You get everything that is above that frozen base. And our urban renewal district is for a period of 20 years, which we are about 5 or 6 years away from the end of our urban renewal. So for the last 14 years, we've received that money, that increment that is on top of what the value of the property was at the time. And that's what you are allowed to spend. One of the goals of urban renewal is to strengthen and grow the tax rolls by spurring new development, and we have. The new development is critical in growing the TIF funding by increasing assessed value of the urban renewal area. We use in 2018, we had hired someone to come in and do a financial plan for the end of the urban renewal period. So we have been using that plan to budget as we go along. There are certain projects that were in the urban renewal budget, two of those one being Broadway Street, which is complete, and the other being Main Street, which we plan on doing in 2 years. The budget for 2022 is based on the values and the timeline suggested by the consultant. Some of the things it includes is the $10,000 remaining for the riverfront project. Actually, that is going to go up, though, to, I think, $45,000 remaining because we got a $35,000 grant that we didn't realize we were going to get. So that helped pay. So it lets us use more of this money for future, for that project. 15,000 for improvements to 401 Southeast Main, which is the Yo Treats building. We just put that in there in case anything comes up. We don't think we will be spending that. And then 400,000 for the small and large grants. In the large grants, we have already committed 250,000 to the stall cut building there on Main Street of that 400,000. And then 30,000 of that is the ant farm we also have committed to, and they're not going to be completely done with their project. So about 30,000 of that is coming over into this new budget year, which leaves about 60,000 in the large grant, and I thought I had it written here, and 30,000 in the small grants line item. Let's see what else. We also expect to sell the Yo Treats building. I'm going to call it the Yo Treats building. We're planning on selling that this next budget year. We figure that's going to be about 290,000. So when we get to the budget pages, I'll kind of explain where that is and how that shows up as program revenue for that. If we sell that, then we'll complete the payoff of the loan that was taken from the city to do the improvements on that building. The Urban Renewal Agency really has funded some great projects in downtown, and it shows by our funding going up over the years. And the stall cut property and the ant farm property are both great examples of, ways that the improvements to the downtown area. We have that one kind of place we'd like to all get before we get done, and staff will keep continuing to working with that property owner to see if that would be a major kudos if we could get 300 the McCrae's redeveloped. So I want to thank Melanie for many hours that she puts into the urban renewal. She does all the financial reporting, works with the auditor for the urban renewal. So thank you, Melanie. And she put this together for us. And then do you want me to just go to the budget, Rob?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you turn the page and the budget, or some of you don't have a page to turn, but if you'll go scroll down and the first page is the tax increment fund for the urban renewal. This is where the property taxes go into the fund, and this is where debt is paid. So we receive our property taxes and we pay our debt from the tax increment fund. The tax increment fund transfers out to the operating fund to do the project. So we'll transfer out those funding as we get them. A couple of things you'll see under debt service, we have the Umpqua Bank, which is Broadway Street that we're paying on. But then the city of Estacada principal and interest, that's that money. It shows the payoff of the loan to the city if we sell that property. That's how much is left on the loan. And then down at the bottom, you'll see a Umpqua Bank loan reserve. And that is required by Umpqua Bank. That is our last payment on the loan to them. And they require that to sit in reserve to be sure you have that when the time comes. So that's that fund. And then the next page shows your operating fund where all the the money for projects are dispersed. And if we ever went out and got a some kind of debt, another loan, it would come into here and it would do the project. But we haven't had to do that since our property taxes have been coming in. We'd be able to fund without going out for those debts, except for the Broadway Street project. And when we do Main Street, we'll have to go out for a loan for Main Street. So the 290,000 in program income would be for the sale of the Yo Treats building, and that would go back in. And the way urban renewal works, we have a limit of it's approximately 6.6 million that we can spend with all our projects combined. And when we sell this property like this, that goes back into that. So we actually have that extra money to spend. So it's kind of nice when this happens. So it kind of replenishes the fund of something that we've already spent. We do have the rental income there still in case it doesn't sell. We have, one of the applicants that we funded for a project, they wanted a loan too, and that was approved by Urban Renewal, and they're paying that loan back, and that's what that small payment is there as their loan repayment. The transfer from the tax increment is to cover all the projects that we have. And then beginning fund balance is always low in this account because you don't like to keep a lot of cash in here because all the interest is into the other account. Requirements, we have about 12,000 of administrative stuff, but if you go down to capital outlay, that's where you see the small property improvement grant program and the large property improvement grant program. Of that 370, about 280,000 is committed, 250 to Stall Cup and 30,000 to the ant farm. Then you have the 15,000, like I said, for the 401 Southeast Main, which we probably won't use. And then the riverfront improvements, we'll have to actually increase that. I think, Melanie, isn't that the plan to 45,000?
For the riverfront, yes, yeah.
We'll talk about that. And then contingency is at 290. The contingency won't be that much. We put the 405,840 in case we didn't sell the property. If we sell the property and that 290 goes back in, we will not be transferring 405,000. We'll be transferring the 405 minus the 290 to cover the projects. So questions, Joel?
Sorry, this is my first time looking at all this, so mine mainly just so I can better understand what I'm looking at. So by the way, a lot of it was very understandable for me, so I do appreciate you explaining that. That answered all the questions. One question I had, it says the transfer in from the tax increment to the operating fund will be less than budgeted if the sale of the property is completed. I was kind of curious what that meant.
So, if we didn't sell the property, we still needed to have enough money in there to cover the capital out, all the projects. So on paper, we said we could transfer up to 405,000. But if we sell the property and get that 290, we won't transfer that 405. We'll subtract the 290 from it.
I just made the connection to what you had just explained a minute ago.
Yep,
okay.
That's okay.
That makes sense. And then quick question, the adopted budget from 2021, that's what we're finishing up now.
Yeah.
And that what we're approving is a 2022 budget coming in a few months, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep. Then I'm tracking that. That's really all the questions I had. Thanks.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I have a question. Yeah, I guess it's not related to the proposed budget. Just a question. The ant farm is a nonprofit. Does that make the property that you guys are now investing in tax-free, or is it owned by somebody else so it'll still be on the tax rolls?
Yeah, so good question, Brent. So there was a discussion of that. Originally, when they applied for the funding, they had agreed to pay taxes on that property. But the council wanted to work with them and see if there was a way to not have to have them pay the taxes. And Matt, Matt, it was going to check that out. And I haven't really heard a response from him. So I will have to get back. I will email the budget committee and let them know the answer to that. He said they might not be able to be excluded because of the way the program works. So
well, yeah, and I appreciate the council's desire to support the nonprofit, but it works against the urban renewal plan if they're not paying taxes.
Right. So I will send an email out to the budget committee about that.
Any other discussion?
I think you have Katie on there.
I don't see the thing that I normally see with, I can view that side thing there, huh? No view.
Rob, do you have gallery view as an option?
Yeah, that's what I just clicked. So is your hand up or something?
I was waving. That's okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted kind of an update on the riverfront improvement because when I look at the operating fund, we spent about 50,000 in 2020. We adopted a budget of 150,000 for 2021. And then of course for 2022, we're looking at a lot less. I guess I was just kind of curious as to what's been done with the riverfront improvement and whether or not we ended up spending that 150 from 2021, and just I wanted a general update on that one because I'm excited about it.
And I'm going to have Melanie do that because she's the one that writes the bills and works with Matt. So,
okay, sure. So we previously had done the design of what would go there. And I'm sorry you can't see me. I'm afraid I'm going to freeze up. But they this year, Matt was working on a contract for engineering and permitting, and that was about just under $100,000. And of that, we'll be getting a reimbursement of $35,000 from a grant. So that will put us at a point where we're ready to do the project because we have all the engineering and permits lined up ready to go. And so that 10,000 is in there really in case anything pops up or we need to have renderings done to try to raise some funding. We just need to raise the funds to do the project now, but we don't have that nailed down yet. So that's why there's nothing really budgeted there for it for the next year, because we didn't feel we were at the point to get a shovel in the ground yet. Does that kind of answer?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Melanie. I know that I was very impressed by the presentation that you and Matt had given to the cities, the Clackamas cities, when we had the dinners back before COVID. And I guess ever since then, I've just been so excited to see this project come to fruition, and a little bit disheartened to see only $10,000 budgeted for it next year. But I understand sometimes things have to be delayed. So thank you for the update. I appreciate you and all your hard work.
Yes, you're welcome. And Matt's really been working on this a lot. The parks grant that he did apply for, that is a pretty large grant. It's on an every other year rotation. And so I think when we roll around to next year, he'll be able to apply for it next spring. If I'm remembering that correctly. So we're kind of waiting for that funding to roll around to be available again.
So
Okay, any other, go ahead, Denise.
The Urban Renewal Agency may see, we hope that you're going to see a supplemental budget in the next year for all these grant monies that Matt is going to come up with.
Let's hope so.
So Rob, I have a question, please.
Yes, sir.
Melanie, can you remind us what the potential cost of this project is? Do we have some big numbers or guesses on this right now?
We have some big numbers. It is a little disheartening because when we started out, it was around $1 million, which seemed very much within reach. As it's gotten further along with more specifics nailed down, it's closer to $2 million. I think Denise might remember. You might remember the exact number, but it was closer to 2 million, which is a little. That's a stretch, and so that's been a little bit disheartening. But we still would like to see it go forward, and we'll keep looking for grants and opportunities.
Great.
I'm sorry, Rob, I know you want to just move
us. Come on now.
Yeah. So, I asked the question last year, when Main Street is starting that renovation, and it was in the future. So we're still focused on the riverfront. But might the Urban Renewal Agency say, hey, we're just going to move ahead with Main Street and wait on the riverfront? Or are you guys still committed to the riverfront is the priority? I recognize one of the challenges is renovating the riverfront doesn't increase your tax revenue like renovating Main Street would.
So for the riverfront project, the Urban Renewal is only committing 150,000 towards that project, and that is what we're talking about. That 10,000 is left, but it could be 45. So really, there's no connection because once urban renewal these funds have been spent, there's no more that's going to go towards the riverfront project.
So you're expecting $2 million in grants then?
Yes, and city funding. So this year, when we get into the city budget, we'll show you how we're going to be completing Wade Creek Park Phase 3. And we're using a lot of SDCs for that. And once that is complete, which it'll be complete at this budget year, and then any funding for that, then we can use park SDCs for the riverfront, along with grant funding.
And so the big wad you still need to spend, you got about $3 million left in this total amount you can spend is going to be spent on Main Street.
Correct. That's the biggest project left.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions besides Brent? Yes, Paul.
So what is the target date again for Main Street?
Melanie, do you have that spreadsheet?
Well, I think we were planning for 2023. Maybe it could go into be 2024, that budget. So it could be 2 years out versus 1 year out. But the plan is to get things together and be able to do it in the next couple of years at the latest, I think.
So 22, 23, is that what
Am I
you were
frozen?
saying?
Yeah, sorry about that. That's what we were, I think that's what we were thinking. And then if we had to push it out, we could push it to the 23, 24 year.
Okay. And when's our final year, Melanie?
2027, and I'm
Okay.
not sure if that means that's when it stops or if we still get taxes in 2027. So I'll have to double check on that.
Okay.
I'll look that up too.
Any other questions or discussion? And no citizen input. Don't see a citizen here. So I ask for a motion to approve the proposed budget.
So moved.
There is
Second.
second.
Or Melanie, did you get that?
Was that Joel that seconded?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's second. Katie or I, doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Melanie, you got that?
I think I did get, who was the first?
Sean.
Sean. Okay. And then it was Joel and Katie,
Yep.
one or the other. Okay.
They
Right,
tied.
and the
Flip a
motion,
coin.
just to confirm the motion
Rock, paper,
just to confirm the motion that you're making, which I've lost the last page of my minutes here, was to assess maximum taxes as allowed for the urban renewal district and to approve the budget as proposed. That
That's
correct?
exactly what Sean said.
That's what, okay,
Quick and
perfect.
easy, quick and
Yeah, that's
easy.
what I seconded, I believe.
I heard
Yes.
I was trying to save time,
Yeah,
but that sounds
perfect.
really good.
Thank you.
it. Any other discussion? All those in favor? No, we need to do a roll call on this.
Yeah,
I'm
let's do
assuming,
a
right?
roll call just so we
Yeah.
have it.
Okay. Let's see, Ralph Branson is absent. So Brent Dodrell,
Yes.
Sean Drinkwine,
Yes.
Katie Dunsmere,
Yes.
Rob Gaskell,
Yes.
Justin Gates,
Yes.
Charity Hughes,
Yes.
Nick Ingram,
Yes.
Joel Litke,
Yes.
Suzanne Sager,
Yes.
Paul Strobel,
Yes.
and Jerry Tenbush.
Yes.
All right, great. Motion passes. Thank you.
Excellent. I guess meeting adjourned. We'll be back at 7 o'clock, huh?
So do we just